Have you ever wondered why some women draw people in without saying a word or trying to stand out? They have a magnetic pull that makes it impossible to look away. This does not come from how they look, their money, or their social skills. What they have is a deep inner strength. This is true confidence. It is not a practiced act, but a feeling that comes from a soul that has woken up. It is a balance of mind, body, and spirit. Carl Jung called this the path back to your true self, untouched by what society wants or by old emotional hurts. A truly confident woman does not just know who she is, she believes in herself. This belief does not come from others telling her she is good enough. It comes from looking inside, seeing both her light and her dark sides, and accepting all of it. So, what builds this amazing confidence? How do we stop pretending to be what others expect? In this video, I will show you how Jung explains this and how to start waking up the goddess within you. Stay with me. We are going to find this secret together. The big question is, are you ready to look at yourself? The first secret is self-trust. Do you really trust yourself? I am not talking about when you are dressed up or posting a happy photo online. I mean in those quiet times when no one is watching and you do not have to put on a show. The truth is that most of us do not truly trust ourselves. We might look strong or successful to others, but when night comes and we are alone with our thoughts, doubt moves in. We doubt our feelings, our choices, and even our value. Carl Jung said that modern people are facing a crisis of identity where we lose touch with our real selves. When we lose that connection, the first thing to break is the trust that we can depend on ourselves. We stop believing that our gut feeling is right or that our inner voice is a guide. Imagine you are a lighthouse in a foggy sea. If your light comes from inside, you can stand strong in any storm. But if someone else controls that light, you will get lost when the waves get high. This is what happens when you live without self-trust. Your happiness depends on praise or advice from others. The fear of failing or being judged comes from this gap. It is not because you are weak, but because you have let others define who you are for too long. You become a product of your parents, social media, and a culture that demands instant success. The danger is that we repeat this every day without knowing it. You hesitate to make small choices because you are afraid of being wrong. You ask 5 people for advice and end up more confused. You stay silent when something feels wrong because you aren't sure if your feelings matter. You promise yourself to sleep early but stay up looking at your phone at 1 a.m. You plan to exercise or meditate but make excuses. These small moments are when you break promises to yourself. Little by little, you start to believe that your inner voice is not important. Jung called this living behind a mask. When you lose trust in yourself, you live the way you think others want you to live. Because of this, your true, wild, and sacred self is forgotten. Self-trust is not just acting like a boss. It is an inner state where you can stand in a storm and not fall because you know who you are. Like an old tree, you do not need to grow taller to prove you are worthy. You just need deep roots. A woman with self-trust does not need to impress anyone. Her energy earns respect not because she is loud, but because her silence has power. Think about reality. How often do you know what to do but do the opposite? How often does your body send signals like stress or tiredness, but you keep going just to please others? When you ignore your feelings for too long, your mind and body disconnect. You no longer know what right feels like. Your intuition gets blurry. Decisions become like a machine doing a job. You can no longer feel your own spirit. This is why self-trust cannot be learned from a book. It must be lived. To get there, you must learn one main thing: listening. Not listening to argue or avoid, but listening to understand the parts of your soul you have ignored for years. Self-trust is daring to believe your fears deserve to be heard. It is trusting your gut, even when it does not seem logical. It is moving from asking, what do they think, to how do I really feel. In psychology, people without self-trust are easily controlled or filled with doubt. But when you trust yourself, you take back control of your life. You stop just reacting to things and start choosing your path. This makes a woman magnetic. It creates a powerful aura. It is a sacred return to your deepest self. No one can give this to you. But if you are willing to walk through your fear and heal your wounds, you will find it. Let these ideas sit with you for a moment. You don't need to rush. Just let them stay there like a seed and see what starts to grow. Every woman has two energies inside her. One is the strong, true self. The other is the quiet whisper of old wounds. The question is whether you are living as a goddess or being led by your pain. Let's look at the difference between goddess energy and wound energy. These two forces live in every woman. One gives life and glows, while the other hurts in silence. One brings you closer to yourself, and the other keeps you trapped. A woman in goddess energy is not always soft or perfect. She has a quiet strength. People feel safe around her. She doesn't fight for attention because she is happy with herself. She moves with grace and knows her value. She can say no, she can cry, and she can love without losing her identity. She has faced her inner demons and come back with understanding. In contrast, a woman in wound energy lives by reacting and defending. She might look great on the outside, but inside she is a scared girl afraid of being left behind. She needs others to tell her she is worthy. She gets upset by small rejections and anxious if someone does not text back. Her view of love is tied to old pain. Jung called these complexes formed in childhood. They do not just go away, they hide in your behavior and the choices you make. Imagine two women at a party. One walks in calmly. She isn't trying to be noticed, but you can't stop looking at her. She is just there. The other woman is also beautiful, but looks tense. She is checking to see who is watching her. Her laugh is a little too loud because she wants attention. You can feel the difference. One is present, the other is performing. A woman in goddess energy does not try to control things. She feels them. In psychology terms, she has started the journey of becoming her whole self. She is no longer a victim of her past. A woman in wound energy, however, is often controlled by the parts of herself she hasn't accepted. She might get very angry at others for things she dislikes in herself, or she might keep looking for a partner to save her. These women repeat the same mistakes, like picking the wrong people or working too hard and then blaming themselves. But they aren't weak. They are just living from their pain instead of their power. In history and stories, figures like the Virgin Mary represent goddess energy. She doesn't use power or loud words, but her presence is strong. She represents acceptance and trust. Compare this to the story of Eve, who represents being led by hidden desires and wounds. As Jung explained, when we deny our shadow or dark side, it controls us from the inside. If you ever find yourself doing something just because you are afraid of being alone, stop. Write that moment down. It is the start of choosing to live as yourself. No one is born perfect or always in a goddess state. Everyone has wounds. The difference is in your choice. Jung said the goal of life is to find light in the darkness. A woman in goddess energy does not pretend she has no dark side. She accepts it and turns it into strength. She treats herself like the person she loves most. She sets boundaries and does not abandon herself even if others do. Confidence is the light that shows up on this journey. To Jung, confidence isn't just saying positive things to yourself or having good posture. It is what happens when a soul finds its center. It is not faked, it is woken up. True confidence cannot happen if you are still hiding your wounds or if your past is still pulling the strings. Think of a big tree. What you see on top is only part of it. The real life is in the roots. A confident woman has roots deep in her soul. She accepts her light and her dark sides. Because of this, she doesn't need to prove anything. An immature ego tries to look perfect, which leads to stress and acting. In those moments, you get upset easily. A small comment can ruin your day. That isn't confidence, it's just a defense. True strength comes from being brave enough to look at your hidden memories and hurts. True confidence is being able to walk into the dark without getting lost. Take a second to feel what your body is telling you right now. You might see a successful woman who can't stand being in silence. That is a building without a foundation. A truly confident woman uses her failures to understand herself better. Jung called this individuation, the journey to becoming who you really are. When this happens, you aren't trying to be a master over others. You are just an honest version of yourself. Jung also said, "You are what you do, not what you say you will do." Trust in yourself comes from how you act. No ritual or magic sentence will give you self-belief. It is built when your actions match your words. In psychology, this is called integrity. When you say you will wake up early but keep hitting the snooze button, your mind notices. Your inner self starts to doubt your word. It is like a child with a parent who always breaks promises. Eventually, they stop believing. When you keep failing yourself, your intuition stops speaking. You lose motivation because you don't trust your own voice. But every time you keep a promise, like finishing a workout or not texting someone who treats you badly, you rebuild that trust. Your brain creates new paths that say, "I am in control." This creates a feeling of safety and confidence. You don't need others to believe in you if you know that when you say you will do something, you actually do it. Imagine you are the leader of your own inner country. If the leader breaks every promise, there is chaos. If the leader is honest, there is peace. That is the mental state you need for confidence to grow naturally. So, how do you build this? You start with small bricks. The secret is keeping your word to yourself. It might seem simple, but it is the foundation. Each small goal you hit, like waking up on time or taking care of your health, is a step toward the top of the mountain. This builds your identity. It connects your conscious mind to your deeper soul. It sends a signal that you are ready to live for real. A woman who wants to be confident but breaks her gym schedule or stays in a bad relationship will always feel shaky, no matter how many books she reads. Knowledge is just a breeze if it isn't anchored in action. Start small. Pick 3 simple things for the next 7 days. Maybe it is waking up 30 minutes earlier, writing in a journal for 5 minutes, or staying off your phone at night. Write them down. When you do them, notice the feeling of, "I did it." This is what your nervous system needs to see. If you miss a day, don't beat yourself up. Just keep going. Self-trust is built on trying again, not on being perfect. The next secret is to sharpen your intuition. Once you are keeping promises, you will feel more grounded. Intuition is the wisdom under the surface. Jung thought intuition was a main part of how we think, but many of us have forgotten how to use it. It doesn't speak in logic. It speaks through your body, a heavy feeling in your chest, a chill on your skin, or a sense of lightness. We often ignore the body to focus on facts, but the body remembers everything. If a handshake feels off, that is your intuition. To get it back, you have to listen. Before making a choice, sit quietly for 3 minutes. Ask your body how it feels about the decision. If you feel open and warm, it might be right. If you feel tight or sick, you might be forcing it. These aren't random. They are your inner self talking. Try this for a week. Just sit and ask, "What is my body feeling?" Don't judge it. Just listen. Eventually, you won't need to ask others for the answer. You will just know. You also need to set boundaries to protect this trust. As you wake up, you will notice things that drain you. You have to stop pretending you are fine when you aren't. Boundaries are a spiritual act. If you let people hurt or use you, you are telling yourself that you aren't worth protecting. When boundaries break, self-trust falls. You are the guard of your own heart. If you let anyone in to cause mess, you are hurting your sacred space. Setting boundaries isn't about being mean. It's about keeping your inner ground safe. Many people who lack boundaries were taught as kids that their feelings didn't matter. As adults, they keep staying quiet just to survive. To change this, find 3 situations where you felt drained. Then, practice a small boundary. Say no to a phone call if you're tired. Don't text back right away. See how your body feels. You might feel nervous, but you will also feel a new energy. Jung said, "There is no growth without some pain." Boundaries might make others uncomfortable, but they show you are living with purpose. When a woman has self-trust, she changes the world around her. A light starts to shine from her. Jung said that when 2 people meet, both are changed. A woman who trusts herself doesn't need to preach. She just is. Her presence makes others feel safe. You can walk into a room and, without any flashy clothes, people will feel your strength. You have stopped trying to prove things. You are just there, whole and real. This makes other people look at themselves. You become a space where others can hear their own true voice. You inspire people without even trying. By being okay with being imperfect and saying no when you need to, you show other women they can do it too. You don't have to save anyone. Just by healing yourself, you help others. This isn't a loud change. It's like water soaking into the ground to help seeds grow. People respect you because they feel they can be themselves around you. In the end, self-trust is a relationship you handle every day. It is staying with yourself when things are messy or confusing. A woman who trusts herself still feels fear. She just doesn't let fear drive the car. She doesn't need others to tell her she's okay, because her being there is the answer. This is a quiet power that comes from living a real life. If this has helped you, stay connected. Keep this conversation with yourself going with honesty and respect. As you begin to walk this path of self-trust and goddess energy, you will eventually face a new challenge, which is the weight of your own history. Most women carry a heavy bag of old stories about why they are not enough or why they need to stay small to be safe. This is where the real work of transformation happens. It is one thing to decide to trust yourself when things are going well, but it is another thing entirely to stay true to yourself when your old fears come screaming back. Jung suggested that we do not solve our big problems. Instead, we outgrow them. You outgrow them by building a life that is simply too big and too honest for those old shoes to fit anymore. This means you must stop looking for a version of yourself that has no flaws. The goddess within is not a perfect statue. She is a living, breathing woman who has integrated her scars into her beauty. When you stop trying to fix yourself as if you are a broken machine, you start to bloom like a flower that finally has enough water and light. This brings us to the power of choice in every single moment. Every day you are faced with 1,000 tiny forks in the road. One path leads back to the old, comfortable pain of people-pleasing and hiding. The other path is steeper and feels a bit lonely at first because it requires you to stand in your own truth. A woman who is moving into her power begins to see these choices clearly. She notices when she's about to say yes just to avoid a moment of awkwardness, and she pauses. In that pause, she finds her sovereignty. She realizes that her time, her energy, and her peace are her most valuable possessions. She stops giving them away for free to anyone who asks. This shift changes the way the world treats her. When you value yourself, the world has no choice but to follow your lead. People who used to take advantage of you will either step up their respect or they will fade away, and you must be okay with letting them go. You might wonder if this way of living will make you cold or distant. The opposite is actually true. When a woman lives from her center, her heart becomes even more open because she no longer fears being destroyed by others. Her kindness is no longer a tool she uses to buy safety. It is a gift she gives from her abundance. This is the difference between being nice and being kind. Being nice is often a mask worn by the wounded self to avoid conflict. Being kind is a choice made by a strong woman who knows her worth and chooses to share her light anyway. This is how you become truly influential. You don't need to dominate a room to lead it. You lead by showing everyone what it looks like to be a person who is not for sale. You show them that it is possible to be both soft and unbreakable at the same time. To keep this flame alive, you must create rituals of return. The world is loud and will always try to pull you back into the fog. You need moments every day where you shut out the noise and check back in with your soul. Whether it is a morning walk, a cup of tea in silence, or just 5 minutes of deep breathing before bed, these moments are your anchor. They remind you that you are the primary relationship in your life. Everything else, your work, your family, your friends, flows out of the health of that inner bond. If you neglect yourself, you have nothing real to give to anyone else. But if you nourish your inner goddess, you become a source of life for everyone you touch. This is the ultimate secret of the magnetic woman. She is not chasing anything. She is simply so full of her own life that everything she needs is drawn toward her. As you move deeper into this journey, you will notice that your relationships start to change in a very specific way. When you live from a place of self-trust, you no longer look at people as sources of air that you need to survive. Instead, you see them as fellow travelers. This is the stage where you move from needing to be chosen to being the one who chooses. In the past, you might have spent hours wondering if someone liked you or if you were performing well enough to keep their interest. Now, the question shifts to whether they are worthy of your energy and whether their presence adds to your peace or takes away from it. This is not about being arrogant. It is about being a good steward of your own life. Jung believed that we cannot truly love another person until we have done the work to love our own soul. Otherwise, we are just using people to fill a hole that we are afraid to look at. This leads to a new kind of freedom that most people never experience. It is the freedom from the need for a specific outcome. When you trust yourself, you realize that no matter what happens, even if you lose a job, a friend, or a dream, you will still have yourself. You become your own solid ground. This makes you incredibly brave. You start taking risks that you used to be too afraid to try because the fear of what will they think has been replaced by the excitement of what can I become. You stop waiting for a green light from the world and start moving when your own inner light says go. This shift in energy is what makes a woman appear unstoppable. It is not that she never fails. It is that she is no longer afraid of the fall because she knows she has the strength to stand back up every single time. You will also find that your voice changes. You stop using filler words to make your opinions sound less threatening. You speak with a directness that is both gentle and firm. You don't feel the need to over-explain your decisions or defend your boundaries to people who don't respect them. A woman who trusts her inner goddess understands that no is a complete sentence. She doesn't offer excuses to soften the blow because she knows that being honest is the highest form of respect she can give to herself and others. This clarity clears the air around you. It pushes away the people who thrive on confusion and drama, and it draws in people who value truth and depth. You are no longer building a life based on what looks good from the outside, but on what feels right on the inside. Finally, you must realize that this awakening is a process of unlearning. You are unlearning the habit of apologizing for your existence. You are unlearning the belief that your worth is tied to how much you do for others. You are returning to that original, wild part of yourself that existed before the world told you who you should be. This is a sacred homecoming. It is the moment you stop running away from your shadows and start inviting them to sit at the table. When you embrace every part of your story, you become whole. And a whole woman is the most powerful force in the universe. She is a goddess not because she is divine and distant, but because she is human and fully awake. As you settle into this new way of being, you will find that your sense of time starts to change. You are no longer rushing to reach a finish line of perfection because you realize that the journey itself is the goal. This is where the goddess energy truly takes root and stays. In our fast world, many people are addicted to the next big thing, always looking for a quick fix or a new secret. But the woman who has found herself knows that real power is quiet and slow. It is like the changing of the seasons. You cannot rush a tree to grow, and you cannot rush your soul to heal. By accepting your own natural pace, you stop fighting against yourself. This inner peace is what makes your presence feel like a rest for others. People will want to be near you simply because you are not in a hurry to be anyone else. This leads to a deep change in how you handle conflict. When you were living from your wounds, every disagreement felt like a threat to your safety. You either fought back with sharp words or you shrank away in fear. But now, with self-trust as your shield, you realize that another person's anger or judgment is usually a reflection of their own inner storm, not yours. You can witness their pain without letting it enter your heart. This is the ultimate form of emotional freedom. You become the observer of life rather than its victim. You can listen to criticism without falling apart, and you can receive praise without letting it inflate your ego. You remain steady, like the deep ocean that is calm at the bottom even when the surface is choppy and wild. You will also start to notice that your creativity begins to wake up. When you are no longer spending all your energy trying to fit into a mold, that energy has to go somewhere. It starts to flow into your ideas, your work, and the way you move through your home. You begin to see beauty in small things that you used to ignore. This creative spark is a sign that the goddess within is fully active. She wants to build, to grow, and to express. You might find yourself wanting to try new things or speak up more often in ways that surprise you. This is the natural result of being in harmony with your true self. You are no longer a machine following a script. You are a creator writing your own story in real time. In the end, the most beautiful thing about this transformation is that it is never finished. There is always a deeper layer of truth to find and a newer level of trust to build. You are an endless landscape of mystery and strength. Every morning is a fresh chance to choose yourself again. Remember that you do not need to be perfect to be powerful. You only need to be real. As you go forward, keep your eyes on your own inner light. Let it be your map and your companion. You have already begun the work of coming home to yourself, and that is the greatest victory any woman can achieve. Trust the process, trust your body, and above all, trust that you are exactly where you need to be.